Welcome to ReginaldESQ. My name is Underhook. This is my review of the American Tier 6 tank destroyer, the M36 Jackson. Since they nerfed the Hellcat. M36 Jackson. I'm never going back. Yes, they're nerfing the Hellcat in 9.3, and I think a lot of people may be taking another look at the Jackson. So, let's see what it has to offer. So, is it any good? Oh yeah, this is a very, very, very good tank. The only reason people don't rave about the Jackson is that the Hellcat is better in almost every department, and that is an iconic tank. The Hellcat is faster, it goes forward faster, it reverses faster, and it has much better camouflage. The Jackson has better hull armor, and that's about it. So, let's get into the review, and I'm going to compare it a little bit to the Hellcat because Hellcat's getting nerfed, and the Jackson could actually be now a real choice. As far as it will be, definitely will be better than some things than the Hellcat is. Now, it has 590 hit points, which actually is more than the Hellcat anyway. The Hellcat only has 570, so for starters, it does have that too. The most hit points at this tier is the 88 with 800, and the least goes to Dicamax Premium with 550. Weight-wise, this tank weighs in at 29 tons, which is around about, well, yeah, it's about average, but you wouldn't want to go ramming anyone in it. It's not really a rammy tank. And the SU-100Y has 64 tons, so there are some TDs at this tier which are much, much heavier. Speed-wise, the speed in forward of 42 kilometers an hour is better than the average tank. It's quite good. However, its reverse speed of 11 kilometers an hour is the second worst in class. The worst is the 88 with 10 kilometers per hour, which you expect because it's very heavily armored TD. And that is a little bit of an issue with the Jackson, is the reversing speed does make it hard because you have a very quick aiming gun, which is great for pop out, shoot, pop back tactics. And you can pop out quick, you just can't pop back very quick, which can be a problem and do sometimes get caught out. The track reverse of 30 is average. The worst is the 88 with 20, and the best is the Nashorn and also the SU-100 with 36. So it's right sort of smack in the middle there. The turret traverse, it traverses at 17 to 18 degrees a second, which is frightfully slow. But it does have a big advantage in that its turret is 100% traversable. It traverses 360 degrees, which is a big advantage over other tank destroyers, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. Has a view range of 370 meters, which is very good, but is average for a TD at this tier. The Dicamax Premium has 400 meters of view range, but the 88 only has 330, and it's kind of blind as a bat. So the view range is pretty good and can be boosted to a good range with binoculars. Signal range on this tank of 615 is on the upper side of average, but it's not as good as the Hellcat, another advantage the Hellcat has. Camouflage wise, this TD is, well, probably on the lower side of average. It's not bad camouflage, but it's not real good TD camouflage. There are plenty of others with better camo. And one of those is the Hellcat, which has really, really good camouflage. Although the best camouflage in class actually goes to the Jagdpanzer IV. And the worst camouflage, the SU-100Y, which is fair enough because it's huge. It has like heavy tank camouflage. But anyway, the camouflage is pretty good. And the thing, though, that makes this camouflage work better than it does on a lot of other TDs is the turret. Because the turret traverses 360 degrees, you can remain stationary if you don't want to risk being discovered. So you can be hiding behind a bush, you see a tank, it's in a different direction, just let your turret rotate. A lot of other TDs, especially ones with narrow traverse, have to turn the tank, thus losing your camouflage bonus from your camouflage net and moving your stationary camouflage bonus. And a lot of times in other tanks you get spotted. In this one you won't. So even if you have to then fire your gun, you've still got your camouflage net is still working and your stationary bonus is still Well, actually, that doesn't work because you're firing a gun. But you still have your camouflage net bonus because you haven't moved. So it does make a big difference, and the camouflage actually works out alright because of that. The gun has 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very, very good indeed. It also has 20 degrees of elevation, which is also very good. So it's quite a flexible gun for a TD, having the fact that you can turn it all the way around and you've got good elevation and good depression. There is a TD at this tier with better gun depression. That's a Dicker Max Premium, which has 15 degrees of gun depression. And there are two other TDs that have 10 degrees. That's the Hellcat, of course, and the Churchill gun carrier. But then that tank's a bit of a disaster. So yeah, very, very good, and a very flexible, adaptive tank. I find this tank works in a lot of different modes really well. You can be hiding in a bush somewhere and be very effective because your camouflage doesn't get blown and you've got a good gun. Or you could be fighting on a hill and the very good slope on the front of the tank and the positioning of the mantlet not far behind the sloping of the tank, means you can come over hills and pretty much only expose your mantlet and turret. And the mantlet is pretty bouncy, and it's a really effective tactic in this tank, as it is in the Hellcat. Alright, let's have a look at the grind for this tank. Now, I was able to go straight to the top engine, straight to the top radio, and straight to the top gun because I have the Hellcat and plenty of American tanks now. But let's have a look anyway. The standard gun is the gun you had on the Wolverine, and is actually a very good gun. It was a fantastic gun at tier 5 on the Wolverine with 19.35 rate of fire, 128 pen, but only 115 damage, a little low. 0.35 accuracy is very good, and 1.7 aiming time is sensational. Very, very good gun. But at this tier we want something better, and we definitely get it with this gun. This gun is fantastic. A 90mm gun with a 7.5 rate of fire, which is not bad rate of fire for the damage it does. It has 160 pen, which is quite good at tier 6. Does 240 damage per shot, which is very, very good. And 0.35 accuracy is quite good, and 1.7 second aim time is fantastic. Very, very, very good gun, and it works fantastically on this tank. It's very well suited to the tank. The 1.7 second aim time makes pop-up shooting an absolute delight, and you can rip tanks to pieces with it, especially if they can't see you. Now, let's talk a little bit about the nerfs coming to Hellcat and why I think this tank may actually be a better choice for some people or for some circumstances. I still think in strongholds and things like that, the Hellcat will still have the edge simply because of its speed. That's the only thing. The Hellcat will still do 72 kilometers an hour. So in a Hellcat, you're out in the middle of the field and suddenly you start getting capped. The Hellcat still has the ability to turn around, rush back the cap and reset cap. Whereas the Jackson's a little bit slower. It just doesn't make it back in time. So you lack the flexibility for things like strongholds. But in a random battle, I think the Jackson might actually be better in some ways, insofar as the amount of damage it's able to deal, because it will have the advantage now. Why? Well, what does the Jackson have going for it now? Okay, it has better frontal armor on the hull. It has an extra 20 hit points, and it has slightly less dispersion of the aiming on turret movement. That's what it has now. But after 9.3, the Hellcat will have its aim after moving its tracks, like traversing or moving. Its aim will be reduced by 57% or nerfed by 57%. So Hellcat so that Jackson will have a definite advantage there. The terrain passing on the Hellcat, that's the amount of resistance you get on different terrains, is going to be nerfed by 15%. It was currently the same as the Jackson, so the Jackson will have an advantage there, although it still won't be as fast. The reverse speed on the Hellcat is being nerfed from 20 to 12, so it'll only be 1 km/h faster in reverse now than the Jackson, so it won't have that advantage anymore. And the aim time of the turret after moving the turret is being nerfed on Hellcat by 25%. Now the aim time is already better after turret movement on the Jackson, so it's going to be quite a decisive advantage now over the Hellcat. And the one thing I think is the clincher is the reload time on the Hellcat is now being increased by half a second. So the Jackson will reload half a second faster, thus it'll have a greater DPM than the Hellcat. Could be very, very interesting choice now between the two. There's a real choice now between the two tanks. Now there are a couple of negatives on this tank. One is that the shell velocity is a little slow, so shooting moving tanks at range can be a little bit difficult with a slower shell velocity, or it certainly feels slow anyway. The other thing is that even though it's better armoured than the Hellcat, it still gets one-shot killed by people shooting with HE, so you do have to watch that. The roof doesn't really offer you any protection that I noticed from HE or from artillery. I mean, the deck's so thin it goes straight through anyway. However, I guess, look, you have to have this second turret simply because it gives you the extra hit points and the better aim time. But yeah, it doesn't really do anything. And other than that, the tank is really, really good. I really, really like it. So let's get into Tank Inspector, have a quick look there, and I've got a couple of good games for you. Now my crew currently is 100% trained, and the commander has 99% camouflage, as does the gunner, 95% the driver. The radio operator, who I pinched off a different tank, has 100% situational awareness, 100% camouflage, and is working on signal boosting. And the loader has 95% repairs. If it's substantially different from that in game, I will let you know. I have binoculars, camouflage net, and gun rammer fitted to the tank, and small repair kit, large repair kit, and large first aid kit fitted. I forgot to mention something. Even though it has a roof, it's not really a roof. If you look here, you can see through the roof there. There's a gap. Right, so what that means is the tank is ventilated, which means you can't fit vents to the tank. And that's a bit of a downside with an open top tank, but this is still kind of open top. You can't fit vents, and so you can't get that benefit from it, unfortunately. M36 Jackson in Tank Inspector, and let's have a looky. It has much stronger hull armor than the Hellcat. So we look down here, the lower plate is 114 millimeters thick, which is pretty darn good and does save your butt quite a bit. When you're coming up over hills to have a shot, or backing back down again, that does save you because it is tilted up higher in the air and they do hit it and do bounce. You will bounce shots off that occasionally. Unfortunately, the upper hull isn't anywhere near as good. It's only 60 mils. And even though, yeah, on an angle, it comes up better, like 80 or something, it's not going to stop much. Although on an extreme angle, when you're really pointing over a hill, you can get the odd ricochet off it, but it's not much good. The real benefit is the mantlet. As you can see here, the mantlet is 75 mils thick, and right here I've got actually 75 over 76. The plate at the back here, in the central turret area, is 76 millimeters thick, and you do bounce the odd shot off there. But it's mainly the mantlet is 75, and in places here it overlays. Where it overlays, good chance you're going to get a bounce. And you can see here it's coming up, even though I've got it set as a 122mm gun, it says ricochet there, simply because of the shaping of the turret. It's very well sloped, the mantlet, sorry. So, as well as having some spaced armor, if they're hitting around this area here, there's a really good chance of ricocheting. The central part here, you can see here, there are some parts where there's not spaced armor underneath. There's nothing underneath. But on the Hellcat, it's worse. The Hellcat has a pretty good mantlet too, but it has less areas of overlaid, and it's pretty much just the 76 or 75 mils for most of it. However, surprisingly, the Hellcat has thicker armor here. We have 25 on the Jackson. I think it's 35 or 36 on the Hellcat. So the sides here are a bit of a weakness on the Jackson. So if you can shoot, even from the front, shoot through here, a 75mm gun or over will overmatch on that area because it's more than 3 times, the caliber is more than 3 times the millimeters of the armor. So it's basically a guaranteed pen. Although it is a little bit small to aim for, and but you can, a lot of time with the Jackson, just show pretty much this while you're shooting at people. I won't see anything below there. And it's a bit hard for them to aim there, and you do bounce some shots, and it's a smaller target to hit. So it's very, very effective in that way. Now, on the side of the tank, we have only 25mm of armor, which, as I said, anything 75 mils and over will overmatch and be an instant pen, and it's the same with the turret. There is a little bit of spaced armor just here, Yeah, great, but really, what's it going to do? The rear of the tank is only 25 millimeters, as is the rear here 25, and as is the back here is 57. Now, on the Hellcat, that's over 100 millimeters of armor just there, that little back bit, and the back side here is also quite thick on the Hellcat, where it's not here. So it's a bit weird. The Jackson, yeah, it has better frontal armor, but some of the other armor is not so good. However, I think this is the better way to go, because really you can't use the side armor. Even if it is a bit thicker, it's still no good. Really, all you want is frontal armor so you can get over the hill and take a shot and get back down the hill in one piece again. And it's very, very, very good at that, and it's very good at staying hidden and sniping the crap out of people. Great tank.
Time to roll out.
The map is Muravanka. We're in our M36 Jackson, and it's a tier 7 game, but only just. There's one tier 7 tank on each team. So we're in our tier 6 tank. So it's pretty good for us. There's quite a few tier 6s, but there's a lot of tier 5s as well. So I'm making my way across. Now, the second game I have for you is a very good game, and I'm actually on the same map, but I'm on the other side of the map. So it's kind of a good way to compare. So take note of how the enemy plays on this side, and then see how I play what I do on the other side when I'm playing. So that shot went nowhere near. That just dropped into the dirt. I don't know what happened with that shot. Maybe I didn't full game it. And that was just a terrible shot. That was never going to hit. So we hopefully got the nerves away there. So this tank is, as you can see, it's not slow by any means. It's just not as fast as the Jackson. But look at the gun depression on this thing. Look at the angle I'm pointing at, and I can still get my gun to point down even. So using the bushes initially. Now up on the hill there, if some people go up there and spot, and so you've got to be very careful here. If you drive around the open, if somebody up there is spotting correctly, they will spot you very, very quickly, and if the other team knows what they're doing, they'll just rip you to shreds. So you have to be a little bit careful. I know a lot of heavy tanks like to just drive straight up there. If you can get Stick a max, see if we can get another one into him. Oh, someone else got him already. If you can get to the bottom of the hill where they are now, you're relatively safe. But if someone's correctly spotting, they can still spot you, and then the people from the forest can still shoot you. So it's very dangerous going over there unless you take care of their scouts very, very quickly. Anyway, I've got a Churchill 1 in distance, so I'm just moving now to see if I can get a shot on this Churchill 1. I'm risking blowing the cover, but this just looks too good to miss. He's not there anymore, but I'm going to fire. Oh, we hit the building. He's spotted again now anyway. Waiting for the reload. Nice shot. You can see no problems penetrating Churchill 1 on the turret area. That missed, then got it over the top. Hopefully this one goes true.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Alright, nice work. Now we've got a T-49. Is he going to come into view? He's stopped. Uh-oh. Okay, so that Type 58's trying to spot us. He's not in the ideal spotting location, no, I don't think. He's a little bit too far back, so that's not too bad for us. There's a Jagdpanzer 4 there. I want to get a shot, so I'm going to risk blowing my cover and move forward to try and get a shot here. Since the Type 59 isn't in a great spot to spot us from anyway, and typically disappears. Oh, well, we hit him. You can see here the big advantage over other TDs with this turret. So my camouflage net is currently active, as are my binoculars. And I'm not having to disengage them at all to take shots. So I still have effective binoculars and effective camouflage net. As you can see, the gun doing the average 240 damage, although it's not really doing 240 much at the moment, really can devastate other tanks of this tier. Especially when you're shooting at people who can't see you. It's just, well, it's so easy. Now see this Type 58 coming around here. He's going to spot me. Now you can see I just bounced a shot off a Hellcat. I just started to move and he shot ricocheted off the front of my tank. Now I've been hit in the back by a Panzer SFL, but I did get a shot under that Type 58. I don't want to get shot from the forest anymore, so I decided to move down, and I decided, look, I might just move on to cap and put pressure on the enemy to make the next move, to come out and expose themselves. Because we're not doing very well. It's only 5 tanks and they've got 6 tanks, and I'm thinking, oh, if they're all in the forest, we'll make them come out of the forest by capping. Is it going to work? I don't know. And are we going to get slaughtered? I'm a bit worried this Type 58 behind me is facing the same way as me. I wish he would turn around and face the other way. Like, I've got this direction covered, and so is the KV-1, so if you could turn around, it'd be good. But so I'm not too worried about that direction. The T-29's there, so he's got that covered. I'm assuming they're going to come through the middle, but they might come from behind, and I really would like some cover from the back. Oh hell, ELCMX has broken through. I did just look there just because I thought, I wonder if there's anyone there, and somehow that shot missed him. I don't know how my shot missed. I've been shot in the back now by a VK, and we're in a lot of trouble. Aim for the turret, top of his cupola, top of his turret, and we get that shot in. 257, good damage roll for this tank. And that's nearly dead, the VK. Okay, he's dead now. Our AT-8, I think, finished him off, which is great. The ATA is now getting slammed, though, and that's the trouble with being on the hill at this stage of the game when you're getting spotted from the forest. And he's now dead, which is unfortunate. We kind of needed him. Now I'm worried they're going to come from this side. I just hope my teammates can protect the other side, the back. I was currently covered, and the Cromwell didn't know I was there, but I had to blow my cover and take the shot because we just now I can't afford to try and be stealthy. We've got to take him out. So I'm moving forward here to give myself a bit more cover from the Cromwell. And I also notice there's a tank behind me, so I'm trying to want to move forward so the tank behind me doesn't shoot me as well. So exchange shots with the Cromwell. I did 284, which is great, but the Panzer shot me from behind and bounced. I don't know how the hell he bounced, but the Cromwell comes and finishes me, unfortunately. We've only got 1 tank left, and that's the KV-1. Unfortunately, yeah, didn't work out. So yeah, we lost that game. I probably could have played it better at the end there. Maybe I could have got moved somewhere else, not tried to cap. Might have been a bad move. Anyway, we didn't win. It was a Class 2 game though, and we managed to get a high caliber badge as well. Yeah, let's have a look at the next screen. So we finished on top for our team for experience, and we finished on top for damage. We did more damage than any tank on either team, so that was good. We fired 18 shots, 11 of those were direct hits, and of the 11 that hit, 11 penetrated. The game may have turned out differently if that shot I fired at the ELCAMX had have hit, but it didn't hit, and I think that was a bit of a lag issue. I've been having a few lag issues, so I think that's what that was. 2,329 damage is pretty good for a tier 6 tank. 822 of that was from a long range, more than 300 meters. We received 6 hits, 5 penetrated, so we did bounce 1, and I think it was a shot actually from behind. I don't know how the hell that bounced, but it did. 7 vehicles damaged, 2 destroyed, that's pretty good, and a little bit of assistance damage. An income of 32,000, and by the time you deduct the sort of 10,000-ish, we would have made probably about 22,000. Or no, we wouldn't, because we've got courageous resistance. So yeah, we would have made about 27,000. So that's a pretty good profit. It was 489 XP plus courageous resistance, so 779 XP was enough for a Class 2 badge. So it's the same map, Muravanka, except this time we're on the other side. It's a tier 6 game once again, with about 5 tier 6 tanks on each team and a lot of tier 5s. Now, I am just showing you tier 6 sort of games. Tier 7, I did have a lot of good tier 7 games, and not bad tier 8 games. In tier 8, you just need to make sure you can stay hidden, because once you get spotted at tier 8, you get ripped apart very quickly because you don't have many hit points or your armor's useless at that tier. At tier 7, not bad. I mean, still want to stay primarily hidden, but it's pretty good. Now you can see here the Hellcat is rushing to this corner as I am also rushing to this corner, but the Hellcat's a lot quicker than me. Now a lot of people come up here to do spotting, but some people aren't very good at it. I'm actually not bad at it now. I've practiced this a lot and I'm pretty good at it, especially at this tier. You can spot quite effectively and not be seen. Now that guy's gone into a bush, which is good, but he's too far back. So to really spot properly from here, and this is what the other team didn't do in the previous game, didn't do it very well, is you need to get over this hill. Now it's a little bit risky in the Jackson because it's slow, and I've taken too long to get here. There'll be probably I will get spotted, as I just have been probably by that T-34. I don't have 6th sense. And there we go, a KV-1S takes a shot at me, 152 damage. I must have been in luck, he's got the stock gun. Or no, he was firing HE. Why would you fire HE at a KV-1S? Anyway, luckily, he doesn't kill me. So this bush right here is where you spot. So I waited for my spot to go away so no one could spot me anymore, and now I pop up. And I'm going to take a shot at this guy. Bang. Now you saw an explosion here. That was the guy next to me, a T-49, decided to... He saw me pop up on the ridge and thought, oh, I'll pop up on the ridge too. But he wasn't in a bush, so he got immediately spotted and killed. So you got to use the bush. You use the bush, you just poke up. Now you could sit here and just spot, but I noticed that my team isn't really in a real good position to shoot these guys. So I'm going to pop up, take shots, and I'm waiting for my spot to go away. Now they have got a birch gun artillery, which is a rapid firing artillery. So I do keep moving. I don't want to stand still. So I come up, spot again. Aim on this guy, and I miss by a mile. I decide to take another shot. This guy's not pointing at me. And now I see he's looking towards me, so I move out of the way. I'm waiting for artillery now to launch a shell at me. I don't know if I was actually spotted there or not, but I can't take the chance. Now, in the old days, before they nerfed the TD, so your TDs lose their camouflage now when they're firing, and a few patches ago they didn't. You kept your full camouflage in a tank destroyer while firing. You could actually sit here in a Hellcat and just keep shooting, and if you had 6th sense you could shoot, you wouldn't get spotted. You could sit there and shoot. It was magic. But now you can't do that, which is fair enough. It was too powerful, although it has, I think, had a really bad effect on some of the lower tier no armor TDs. Now they're almost useless. But anyway, so a nice shot of that KV-1S there. I think artillery had a shot at us then, but missed. And the KV-1S is now taken out. Now we're starting to get some good spotting damage. Oh, Artie just missed me. And you can see there why you have to keep moving when you're up here. You cannot stand still, because you don't know. Sometimes you might get spotted without knowing it. So now, this time I wait until my binoculars activate. So now I can see even further, and now I'm picking up these guys. Now he probably can't see me. He hasn't turned his gun, so I'm pretty sure he can't see me. Chinu. Kaboom. And we've even spotted another one. Oh no, someone else has probably spotted that tank, because we can't actually see him. Now, once you've killed all those guys, you can move to the next bush, because you won't get spotted from the side. You only need frontal cover. And once I go here and let my binoculars activate, I'll move forward a little bit more. I can have a shot at this KV-1 while I'm here. And we miss. He moved at the wrong time, or the right time as far as he's concerned. Now you can see there while moving the turret, my aim hardly changed, and that is one advantage that Jackson has over the Hellcat. Alright, here they come now. I want to get rid of this artillery, because he was the biggest threat to me up here. Get rid of this leopard if we can. Can we get him? Nice. Now you can see all these tanks we're spotting here because of our binoculars. We've got our camouflage net. Didn't pen. So we're able to change our aim without worrying about losing our camouflage, because we've got a turret. And you can see in this sort of a situation, this tank is deadly. Like I say, in this particular map, the only risk is getting there quickly enough. No, okay, I thought he was in range. So I'm trying to use trees to a certain extent where I can. He's behind a building now, so we can't get a shot on him, unfortunately. I was hoping he wouldn't be behind the building. But now you can see the tank does rock around a bit when you stop moving, which is a bit interfering. I don't think you can get stabilizers at this tier to help stabilize the tank. And you get a nice shot there. So the 240 average damage is plenty of damage, especially at this tier. It really does smash tanks, especially with this rate of fire. Oh, he's out in the open now. Come on, let's get him. Oh, he only had 3 hit points. Oh, ripped off. And that's the end of the game. Well, that's a mighty good looking screen, and it really shows what the Jackson is capable of. So you can see, obviously, we've got a mastery badge there, and that's not just because of the damage we did. The first game I showed you, we actually did more damage, but we did a lot of spotting damage in this game. And you can see that's evidenced by we're getting a patrol duty badge as well as a high caliber. Now, I can't actually fit all the action on one screen. You can see I can't scroll down because this is a screenshot. So, but you can see what we've done there, and there's a few more at the bottom, and I'll just show you the next screen. We'll just show those few at the bottom in case you're interested in it. And there's the few more at the bottom there. There's the Matilda, the birch gun, and the leopard. So yeah, we managed to get 5 kills as well. So great game. We earned 1,424 raw XP, which is awesome. That's a really good result. We did 2,037 damage, killing 5 tanks, and obviously no one else got anywhere near us for any of those stats. We fired 17 shots, 13 of those were direct hits, and of the direct hits, 11 penetrated. We did 2,037 damage, which isn't bad, and 1,364 was from more than 300 meters, which shows you the gun is at .35, pretty darn accurate. We received 1 hit, which did penetrate. And that was actually, it says, a splash from Artie as well. Oh, I don't know what's going on, because we got hit by that KV-1S at the start. Maybe it was a bit of track damage from that splash. We spotted 8 vehicles, which is why we got our patrol duty. We damaged 10 vehicles, destroying 5, which is a fantastic effort. And we did 2,520 assistance damage. So we actually did more assistance damage than we did physical damage, and we had a good game with physical damage. So a really great game. 52,990 coin earned, and it was a little bit of a mission reward. But if we take the mission reward off, we still made about 48,000 profit. Yeah, great tank. So yeah, 1,400 raw XP with premium came up to 2,136, which is obviously enough for a mastery badge. And I think it was like a 2 times XP thing or something for driving these tanks at the moment, which is one of the reasons why I'm driving them. And so yeah, it was 4,200 something. Great game. Thank you for watching my review of the M36 Jackson, a tank that is truly hotter than a pepper sprout. If you liked the review, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.